Hello everybody, Sonna Rich here with the records I played today. Actually, these are the records I played Sunday. My wife went out with a couple of friends. I was home by myself and I played about 8 records. And then I went on to the George Borden live stream. And I think I went on Stunny's stream that day too. But anyways, the first one I played was this KC and the Sunshine Band. Now I featured this in the last video I made, actually, yes. Great closing tracks. And I made the statement that all the songs on side 2 kind of flow into each other, because I remembered the last 2 did. So I gave side 2 a spin, and they don't. The last 2 songs do, but the other ones don't. But yeah, side 2 of this is fantastic, man. Then I pulled out this one, and I played side A of this one. I believe this may be their first album, I'm not sure. But it starts out with Let It Go, about a 3-minute song. Then That's the Way I Like It, their big hit. Then Get Down Tonight, another big hit. And then it ends with Boogie Shoes, which was another single. Just a great, they get lumped in with disco, but they're kind of a little funkier. They got horns and they got more of a rawness to them than a lot of the disco. But yeah, I dig KC and the Sunshine Band. Then I pulled this one out. This is actually, it's their first 12-inch EP on Posh Boy, which had 3 songs on each side, and it's their first 7-inch single combined to make this album, I guess you could say. And it's Thoughts of Yesterday, 1981 to 1982. This is TSOL on Posh Boy Records. Now, I have all these songs, but it's kind of cool to have them on an album. And the way they sequenced it is pretty good. They mixed up the original album with the 7-inch to break up each side. So it's pretty well done. This was VCLT sent to me by Ron Haggerty. Great guy. He's changed his name and his channels quite often, and I even lost track of him. I didn't even know he was making videos anymore. This suffers from Posh Boys records in general. The sound is horrible. It's not very good. And from what I understand is Posh Boy would just get the band in. He would set up 1 mic, maybe 2 mics, and they would just play loud or play live. Now, there's all these audiophile reissues of Love Supreme and, oh man, what, Pretzel Logic, and all these Steely Dans, and all these Kevin guys and all these Gray guys. That shit doesn't impress me. Remaster this and make this sound good, and then I would be impressed. I would really be impressed. Now, this next record is one that I got from Mazzy. Mazzy was he was at one of his trendy record stores up in Seattle, and they have a coffee shop, all that, the yuppies like, the hipsters nowadays, And he's flipping through these records, and he flipped through this one. And I sent him a message. I go, hey, if you're not home yet, Mazzy, pick up that David Lannon. And he goes, he sent me back, I'm already home. I'm like, that sucks, man. That's a really good record. You should check it out. And then I told him the history of it, my history of it. My brother had this record. He probably still does. It's one of those records you get in the dollar bins. They used to be like 33 cents each. It was like 3 for $1. And he picked this one up, probably based on the cover. And it's a really good record. As the title says, it's a street singer. This is all recorded live, him playing out on the street, and it's what's amazing is how good this sounds compared to how crappy this sounds. And this is recorded in a studio. But yeah, the other thing I want to say about this is Elliot Cruz you would really dig this guy, man. He's a real folky. He even kind of yodels, has a couple of songs. It's pretty cool. And there he is with his dog, man. Anybody that likes a dog, they're okay in my book. Next, I felt like listening to some 60s. And this is a very well recorded album on Capitol Records. It's The Human Beings, Evolutions. It's a great 60s album. It's got like I said, the acoustic guitars are really recorded well. It's got some arrangements in it, like orchestral arrangements, but they're not overbearing. They're just kind of in the background on a couple of songs. You got the third song on side one, Every Time Woman, a great psych song. I mean, all the songs have tinges of psych. But yeah, the Every Time Woman is a fantastic psych song. And the last song, April 15th, it's like a 7-minute song, and it's an instrumental, and it's a garage psych staple. But yeah, the very good album. Garage Geek, this one is in the shrink, and it's going to stay in the shrink because it's the original shrink from the 60s. And how I know that is, this is like a promo, and it's stamped free. You can probably see it on this side better. And you can see the little holes in the shrink, so I know this is the original shrink. I know it's stupid, but someone's going to pay way more if I ever do sell this because it's in the original shrink. So the shrink's staying on this one. But yeah, really good 60s psych. It's a good representation of the time period, actually. And I pulled another one from the 60s. This is the 13th Floor Elevators live. Though from what I understand, it actually isn't a live album. It's their demos. It's demos by them. And they piped in, it has some damage here. This isn't original. They piped in some live sounds in between the songs to make it sound like a live album. But it's actually demos from what I understand. It's a really good record. Anybody that likes 13th Floor Elevator should check it out. I know they do have some live albums out there, and I've only heard a couple of them, and they didn't really sound that good. This actually sounds pretty good. I think this might be their third release. I think this actually came out before that Back in Wood. I could be wrong. This could be the fourth one. This doesn't sound as good as this, but it's a good listen, man. I wanted, something different. And I pulled out this black jazz record. Calvin Keys, Sean Meek. I've shown this record before. And this is probably my favorite black jazz album. Now, I remember probably a year and a half after, I don't know if it was quite a year and a half, after I bought this, the Waxed on Rachel's live stream was going on about all these black jazz reissues on Real Gone Music, and he was going on and on about it, and people, that are on Rachel's stream started buying it, and they're, going on about it, which is cool. But see, I have a feeling a lot of these people that are on these streams, they don't really watch videos. Because a year before that, I made videos about the black jazz reissues. Many other channels made videos about these black jazz reissues. But yeah, a year and a half later, Rob brings it up and everybody acts like it's, something new. And like somebody recently told me, why do you always have to put shadow on everything? I don't know, I can't help it. But anyways, back to the record. I only listened to side one of this one. The first song, it comes out, it sounds like kind of free jazzy. And then it gets into this groove. And that's what I like about it. I kind of like the idea of free jazz, but I don't like it when it's all mumble jumble. 5 people are playing 5 different things all the way through the side. I don't like that. If it comes in and out, it's cool. The second song is pretty cool. The last song, is a lot mellower, a very mellow tune. But yeah, this is a good album, man. Really cool guitars. I really dig the horn, the sax in this. I don't know. It says Owen Marshall, flute, housaphone, miscellaneous. So housaphone is probably saxophone, but it has a really cool sound. It sounds kind of like is it Bernie Maupin or Benny Maupin on those Herbie Hancock albums when he was playing the bass clarinet? It has kind of that feel. Really gritty sound. Now, my idea of free jazz, or modern free jazz, is this punk rock noise band. Lieben den Toten? I don't know. I think I showed this on Stunt Rock Confusion's live stream. And I think he said that means severed hand. And the name of this record is Static. It's a one-sided record. And you play it at 45. Though this is truly one of those records that can be played at 45 or 33, and it sounds like it's, this is what it's supposed to sound like. So this is truly one of those records. And that was a video I had thought about making before, but I just can't remember which ones. But there are records that you can play them on 33 or 45, and they sound fine, But this is okay. Look, you got channel the vocals. Now it's got the vocals to this first song, Static, and even though the words are here, it's hard to follow, man. The vocals are kind of in the background. They're part of the noise or sound of the band instead of out front. But and she sings so fast. And then you got Mirror on bass. You got Keith on drums. You got Scott on synthesizers and effects, and there's a lot of that. And then you got this Frank fellow, Static. And yeah, so this is a noisy mess. And it's great, man. Anybody that is truly into free jazz, I think you might like this record. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It has the song Static, and then it goes into this noisy part, and then it goes into another song where there's vocals, and then it goes into a noisy part again. And then it goes into a fifth part where it's kind of a quiet, noisy. And I finished up the day before I jumped onto the live streams with this album, Finnish Hardcore Bands. I think there's 18 bands on this compilation, 35 songs. I don't think it really says which. See, it says Propaganda Records, and then on this side, it says B, so I guess it does say A and B. But I wasn't sure which side was A and B. And it's pretty cool vinyl. And I was going to say, this record, it kind of doesn't matter if you know which side is A and B, because all the songs sound the same, and you can't understand a word they're singing because it's mostly in Finnish. But I'm being a little facetious when I say that. You can tell the difference between the bands. Really raw, gritty stuff. Finnish. Anybody that doesn't know Finnish hardcore, you're in for a treat, man. If you ever dive into it, it's brutal hardcore. Now I remember there was a video. I think his channel was like the History of Punk or something like that, and he did a video on American hardcore, I think. And I made a comment that GI by Germs is actually the first American hardcore album. And some guy, and he started trolling me after this, said, no, that's not a hardcore album. Hardcore started in New York City, and that Germs album is just Sex Pistols sped up. And I said, no, it's not really. And then he goes, yes, it is. Hardcore is real fast, doesn't have a melody, and brutal vocals. And I go, well, some hardcore's like that, but not all. And he goes, no, all. And then I go, dude, there were bands like that in LA. Iconoclast, And he didn't want to hear about it. And then I go, well, you say hardcore started in New York City. I go, have you ever checked out any of the Finnish hardcore bands? I mean, this is 83. This is way more brutal than anything coming out of New York City in 83. I'm sorry to tell you. But anyways, I get off the track. Really cool comp. Now, I've been meaning to do a video of Finnish hardcore, but it's hard for me to get a handle on all of it. I can't listen to a lot of it all at once, and I have a hard time pronouncing the band, so I've kind of put it off. But I got some other ideas for some videos. And one is album covers that look alike. And speaking on that, check out these two records, man. They kind of look alike, pretty similar. The Black Jazz one and the Propaganda. But yeah, anyways, I'm also been meaning to do a ranking video of a certain artist, but I just can't seem to, I just can't listen to his records. I can only handle so much, and then so that one's been like 6 months in the making, man. But maybe one of these couple of days I'll sit down and I'll listen to all 11 or 12 records that he came out with and rank them. I mean, I know my preconceived idea of what I think the ranking is, but I don't like to do that because after you sit down and actually listen to it, sometimes it changes. Anyways, take care, everybody. That was a bit of a rant at the end. Disconnects. Stay disconnected and wake up dead.